Everywhere you go and whatever you might be doing, as long as you have an electronic device with a microphone, speakers, or gyroscope, that device might be listening. Not just your phone, but also your laptop, tablet, smartwatch, TV, or your IoT-enabled home appliances are all participating in the most clandestine and unavoidable method of tracking your location and behavior: ultrasonic cross-device tracking. So what exactly is it, and why is it the most egregious invasion of our privacy? Let's say you're watching your favorite TV program, and as a regular viewer, you have your phone with you or somewhere close in that room. In the old days, that would be the end of the story. But in this day and age, your TV is an audio beacon and your phone is a receiver. Beacons are emitting high-frequency sounds and receivers are listening for those signals. During commercial breaks, your TV will emit ultrasounds that you won't be able to hear, but your phone and your dog will. You may notice your dog acting strange, but it won't notice your phone receiving those signals and listening for instructions. In this case, it will generate an identifier with information about you watching a particular TV program at a given time. Your phone will save this information and make it available for apps on your phone to read and transfer to advertisers. What just happened there is called ultrasonic cross-device tracking. It's a method of linking multiple devices of a user to track their behavior and location. It works with all devices equipped with regular microphones, speakers, or even through gyroscope sensors. Ultrasonic audio beacons can be embedded in any form of medium: TV programs, websites, online videos, apps on your phone, or even billboards and banners. And it works both ways. Using ultrasounds, audio beacons can always detect when your phone is nearby, and likewise, apps on your phone can listen for approximate audio beacons to track what you do and see. This method of tracking is usually completely permissionless and secret. You won't receive any notifications, and oftentimes you'll never know what apps on your phone or websites you visit have ultrasonic beacons or receivers in them. You won't be able to stop it even if you disable location services or take your phone completely offline. Enable airplane mode, remove your SIM card, and cut off all network access. Transmission of data via ultrasonic means is going to work outside of all radio signals. Even background noise from other appliances like your AC unit will not interfere with the ultrasonic transmission. Ultrasonic tracking has proven to be so effective it can even de-anonymize Tor users. Audio beacons can bypass Tor by sending true location information and the original IP address of a Tor user straight to the adversaries or advertisers. Wherever ultrasonic tracking is enabled, there is the potential for the beacons to transmit full audio recordings if the app using them has internet access. It's possible to filter out these recordings and only send ultrasonic frequencies back to the advertisers, but it's up to them to implement those filters. And if that doesn't scare you enough, ultrasonic transmissions happen instantly and without any authentication or encryption. Your sensitive data is thus blasted into air for several meters and can be collected by other devices. Adversaries can potentially build a mesh network of audio beacons to collect sensitive data of all the devices in proximity. The only constraint of ultrasonic tracking is bitrate and distance. The bandwidth of high-frequency transmission is about 10 to 20 bits per second. That's not a lot of data that can be transmitted. It's not going to be used to snatch high-resolution photos from your phone in real time. It is just enough to transfer identifiers from your phone and nearby beacons to communicate your proximity, location, and fingerprinting information, such as what browser or device type you use. High-frequency sounds are not going to travel a vast distance. The limit of this technology, at least what is publicly known, is no less than 65 feet. Other methods achieve a realistic transmission at 16 meters. That may not sound like much, but it is enough to transfer data in densely populated urban areas, even from air-gapped machines. That is, even if you keep all of your devices completely off the grid, your data can hitchhike on high-frequency sounds and hop between devices until it reaches one that is connected to the internet. There is only one mechanism to opt out of this tracking: revoking apps' permission to access your microphone. Only allow microphone for apps while in use, and only for those apps that truly need it for features you actually use. But restricting microphone access is only going to mitigate a portion of high-frequency tracking signals. You need to consider at least 3 more facts. In 2017, researchers at Zhejiang University in China developed a method of hacking into smart and IoT devices using their voice-activated virtual assistants. They were able to send ultrasonic commands to iPhones and Amazon Echo devices, essentially taking full control over their virtual assistants. That allowed them to remotely instruct Siri and Alexa to open infected websites using the default web browsers. Also known as Dolphin attack, this strategy can be used to infect devices with fileless malware, spyware, keyloggers, clickbots, or tracking systems. Dolphin attack demonstrates that using your phone's basic functionality it was designed to perform immediately leaves you vulnerable. The best defense mechanism would be with microphone hardware switches that completely cut off electric current from even going into your mic. These are currently introduced only in a couple of non-mainstream projects, but even that wouldn't be enough to stop ultrasonic tracking. In 2018, researchers from Yale and Technological University of Darmstadt in Germany found a way to exploit gyroscope sensors to do the exact same ultrasonic cross-device tracking and transmission with zero permission access. Gyroscope is a tiny sensor in a phone that measures its rotation rate to estimate its orientation in space. These sensors are designed to have a resonance frequency between 19 to 29 kHz, which is well within the ultrasonic range. This makes gyroscopes susceptible to exploitation for ultrasonic transmission with a bandwidth of 10 to 20 bits per second. Using gyroscopes doesn't usually require special permissions, which is why this is a zero permission access. Restricting access to the sensor API is only available on Graphene OS. This means most users are vulnerable even if they restrict microphone permissions. This year, another group of cybersecurity researchers published a paper in the Journal of Information Security and Applications, where they laid out a method of headphone-to-headphone transmission. As you can see in this demo video, they were able to reverse engineer passive speakers with no microphone functionality to transfer this pixelated picture of a panda. The speakers were not originally designed for the purpose of receiving sound, yet they were still able to receive and transmit ultrasonic signals within the range of 18 to 24 kHz. Using this method, they were able to transmit data between passive speakers on two different computers 9 meters apart and 3 meters apart using earbuds with no microphones. Even if you took the Snowden approach and desoldered your microphones from your phone's motherboard, ultrasonic tracking will still be doable via its speakers. These too could be desoldered, but this option is not open for the vast majority of regular users. The aim of ultrasonic cross-device tracking is rather simple. People have multiple devices, and it may be difficult to assign them their true identities. Usually, at least one piece of your personal electronics has a persistent identifier that advertisers know about. That identifier is usually on your phone. Cookies don't work on mobile devices, so something else has to be used as a vector. Platform logins like signing up with your Apple ID, Google account, or Facebook account are deterministic means of cross-device tracking that work the best, but users can avoid them. Probabilistic tracking is aggregating a full profile of information about you that uniquely identifies you, like your IP address, browser fingerprint, device type, customization, settings, configuration, etc. But users can obfuscate these identifiers with various degrees of success, or they can take their devices offline. That's where audio beacons join the chat. They are more invasive than deterministic trackers because it's impossible for you to avoid them. Ultrasonic trackers are also more accurate than probabilistic trackers because they create a predetermined identity that travels across your devices outside of your control. Why are advertisers so obsessive about ultrasonic tracking? Well, that's simple too. It allows them to link ad impressions across different channels. If you saw an ad on your phone and went on to check that product on your laptop, audio beacons can link this activity. Saw a TV commercial? Your phone was listening for that too. Went to a store and walked by a banner or billboard? Your audio frequencies give away your presence. Ultrasonic beacons can also rather precisely determine your position, which is useful if other location services aren't available. Even if the whole telecommunications network is down, audio tracking will still function as long as it has power. Such reliable proximity tracking can be used to suggest you location-based content, something that's already being used in museums, exhibition centers, stadiums, and other venues. And of course, ultrasonic beacons are also used to track your behavior. Audio beacons can track what movies you see in theaters or watch on TV. what radio programs or podcasts you listen to, where you buy your groceries, what people you meet, how frequently, where, and how close you are to each other, what websites you visit, or potentially even what searches you make. High-frequency audio tracking code can run anywhere and you'll never know about it. It can be inside any ad, script, app, program, or any digital medium. Since all of this source code is proprietary, we have no way of finding out. Finding out which apps and which media companies are utilizing ultrasonic cross-device tracking is no easy task. Oftentimes, this information is not properly disclosed, although Google declared that all developers must expressly state it in their privacy policies. But that may be a difficult task for general users. Most of the ultrasonic tracking technology isn't developed by app developers themselves, but merely embedded. There are specified companies that focus on creating software development kits with ultrasonic tracking that other apps can implement. In 2017, researchers in Germany found hundreds of apps using audio beacons SDKs, and some of them have been downloaded millions of times. The biggest names in their findings listed McDonald's or Krispy Kreme, but any app that runs ads could potentially expose you to ultrasonic beacons embedded in the code of those ads. And what makes it even more difficult is that Google policies only apply to apps on the Play Store, but not to websites or apps that can be installed via other means. Ultrasonic signaling is bound to improve since it is being supported for other purposes and not just ad tracking. Both Google and Apple are developing ultrasonic communication between devices to establish proximity or for device pairing. FangPictor, on the other hand, develops ultrasonic signaling apps to coordinate phones of audience members for light shows during sporting events. Cross-device tracking is not a new concept, and ultrasonic cross-device tracking is just a novel addition. Corporations, researchers, hackers, and advertisers are going to continue investing into this technology and are bound to find ways to make ultrasonic tracking more and more effective. It seems that most ultrasonic tracking can be evaded by restricting microphone permissions. However, Google and Apple will have to develop tools for users to toggle off permission to access gyroscope sensors as well, since these can be used for tracking just as effectively. Speaker-to-speaker transmission is not a major threat right now, since it requires much closer proximity between devices, but it's still something that will need to be addressed. The best approach would be to use hardware switches that kill power going into microphones and sensors so that they can't be exploited even if software settings are compromised. Ultrasonic cross-device tracking is among the most invasive tracking practices that's incredibly clandestine, difficult to detect and avoid. I have seen some apps that claim to function as an ultrasonic firewall, detecting and blocking high-frequency transmission signals, but I haven't tested them myself and can't verify how effective they are. Right now, definitely review your microphone permissions on your iPhone or Android and consider switching to free and open source apps wherever you can. F-Droid has a repository of open source apps that don't track you, and any data collection is disclosed before you install their app. Right now, installing GrapheneOS on Google Pixel phones seems to offer the best defense, since GrapheneOS also provides a permission toggle for Sensor API on Android. Other Android and iOS users are vulnerable. Check all the sources in the description and feel free to verify all the claims in this video. Support this channel with a barrage of likes and comments, subscribe and join my channel, or support me on Patreon. Thank you.